Hey guys, I decided to make a food guide and tier list for super pets. I will be ranking the food items and explain why I think they deserve that spot and how to use them in game effectively. So, let's start with the first one, the apple. It's a +1/+1 to a targeted unit. It's not the best, but not horrible. The fact that you can select the unit that you want to buff makes it okay-ish compared to the RNG buffs. But yeah, in the early game the stats you gain for 3 gold are fine. If you have no reason to roll, buying an apple is a decent option for a unit that you know is gonna be sticking around for a couple more rounds at least. Compared to the late game food items, it's definitely not worth buying in the later rounds. With that being said, I think it's gonna have to go in C. Okay, we got the honey now. Spawns a 1/1B. I think this is definitely one of the worst food items in the game. It only works on summoner builds when you can buff the bee with a horse or a turkey, but even then it's pretty terrible. The only time I buy this food item is when I want to play an early summoner build, when I go with horse and crickets and I use it on a cricket, just because the cricket already has a summon and now it has to, and it gets buffed by the horse as well. It also works on a badger for the classic move, badger in the back that kills the enemy's last unit with its ability and then spawns a bee, and that wins you the round. And I think early game it's definitely worse than an apple because it occupies the buff slot, which means you can't really use it together with a garlic or other stuff like that. Yeah, I think this is gonna have to go in the D tier, even though the bee is pretty cute, but no bonus points for the cuteness, I guess. The cupcake now. It +3/+3 for just one round on a targeted unit. When I started playing this game, I used to never buy the cupcake because I thought the buff being temporary was kinda bad. But as I gained more experience and perspective in this game, I realized the cupcake is actually the perfect food item when you know your team is not strong enough to win the next round. In the early rounds, that means if you spent a round rolling for a specific unit and didn't get it, then it's a pretty good idea to just buy a cupcake with your last call to keep up with the enemies. For a tier 2 food item unlocked on round 3, the +3/+3 stats are actually really good and they should put you in a pretty good position to win the next round. But yeah, because the buff is temporary, investing the money in this item is only good if you know it's gonna make a difference in the next round. But yeah, with this being said, I think the cupcake should be a decent item. I think we'll give it an A grade. Okay, Meatbone now. +5 attack for a unit. Not the best, not the worst. Works best in the early game on a weak unit to make sure it gets a kill. Usually don't want to do that because if the unit is weak, you probably just want to replace it with a better unit and not invest 3 gold to buff it even further. So that means it's definitely pretty good on weak units that you want to keep, like a whale because of its low attack, or a low attack dodo that you want to keep scaling for late game, or I guess just a frontline unit with not enough damage, like a level 2 ant that you want to keep in your team for a couple more rounds until you get a pill, I guess. So yeah, it occupies the food slot, which means you have to replace it if you want to get a garlic later in the game, so that's definitely a downside. With that being said, I think it's a decent B food item. Okay, sleeping pill. Kills the unit in the shopping phase. Definitely one of the more interesting and unique food items in the game. The bad thing about it is it only works with a couple units in the game, those being the ant, the flamingo, and the turtle, I guess. Just 3 units. Yeah. But those 3 uses are pretty strong though, and the pill only costs 1 gold. That's a really important factor as well. So let's see, the flamingo buff is definitely pretty strong because you buff 2 units that you select for a +1/+1. The ant buff can be targeted as well if you sell your units so they don't get buffed, but of course that only works if you wanted to sell those units anyway. And the pill turtle combo is of course incredible. An early melon on a strongish unit relative to turn 5-7 when you unlock the turtle is pretty much a round winner. So yeah, I like it. It doesn't have many uses, but the ones it has are pretty solid. And I think we'll give it a B, just because its uses are incredibly limited. Okay, garlic. Buffed unit takes 2 less damage. Incredibly strong in the mid game, even into late game actually. If you use the garlic before, you already know how strong it can be. On a frontline tanky unit, it's amazing. It gives you incredible trades. When you unlock it, you usually want to buy it already. Unless you have really weak units in terms of HP, I guess. Yeah, this is pretty much an S for me. It wins you so many rounds. Okay, next up we got the salad bowl. Buffs 2 random units for 1-1. Yeah, pretty much terrible. When you unlock this, you already have better alternatives to spend your money on. Honestly, I would rather just buy an apple just because you get the buff on the unit that you actually want it on. Yeah, I don't recommend using your money to buy this. We will go with C, just because the honey is actually worse. Okay. Now we got canned food, +2/+2 for current and future shop units. Yep, it's really good. I always buy this when I see it in shop. The stats are really nice and the stacking makes it amazing. Basically, the only situations you don't want to buy this item is when you already have your team established, so you're not gonna change them. But that only happens in the late game, to be honest. And of course, when you are on your last HP and you need to maximize the chances of winning the next round, which means the scaling for the future doesn't really help you out. But yeah, that only matters if you didn't already get stronger in some other way, like you already got a level up and you still have money to buy the canned food. Yeah, it's really strong though. It has to go in A. Pear. +2/+2 for a specific unit. I love it. Whenever I have a unit that needs scaling, like a rhino, hippo, a dog, or even a whale, because you want to keep the whale when you usually go for the summoner build, yeah, I buy this item when that's the case. It's basically a monkey buff without wasting a slot for the monkey. It's the best buff that doesn't take up the buff slot. Yeah, it's strong A. Okay, chili. +5 damage to the unit behind the one that gets damaged. For tier 5, 5 extra damage is usually not worth occupying the buff slot for, and plus the 3 extra gold is probably better spent in some other way. Yeah, its only use is breaking melons behind the first unit anyway. I don't usually buy it unless it's my only option with 3 gold and I have a unit that I don't have any other buffs on. But yeah, honestly it's pretty bad as well, because if you buy it on turn 5 on a strong unit, you definitely need to replace it with the melon on turn 6 when you unlock it. So yeah, it's pretty much always not worth the investment. Let's not say always, most of the time at least. Yeah, it's not terrible, but we'll use it in B because the damage can be good sometimes. Chocolate, +1 XP for a unit. Yeah, incredible. You already know the chocolate is a must buy, at least most of the time. If you already leveled up your important units, you of course don't need to buy it. But yeah, the level ups are really important and strong in this game, so the chocolate is incredibly valuable. Definitely an easy S tier for me. Okay, let's go on with the sushi. +1/+1 to 3 random units. Even if the buff is random, it has a high chance to hit the units you actually want for it to hit, so it's not a bad gamble. It works really well with the Sea Lord Worm as well. Most of the time you actually want to spend your money on something else, but if you have more than 2 core units, it's worth it to get it to buff all of them. And I think it's a decent food item. Okay, on to the melon now. Protects you from 20 damage once. You don't need me to tell you this goes in the ass. It's an amazing food item, pretty much the best one in the game. It gives you free kills and amazing trades, so yeah, definitely a must buy for your team to be strong in a late game. Yep, it's amazing. Okay, a 1-up. Respawns the unit as a 1-1. This is a really niche buffing full item. The fact that you have to give up a melon for it though makes it pretty bad. Works decent on the backline that you want to keep alive, protected from snipes like a turkey or a fly. It's a decent choice for them. So basically it's an alternative to the melon, but only for weak units. It's decent as well if you use it when you already have a turkey. The best combo is turkey with a rooster with a 1-up. Yeah, I think it goes in B. Okay, pizza, +2/+2 for 2 random units. Good stats, but the RNG can make it useless sometimes. You usually end up buying it because it doesn't occupy the buff slot, the stats are decent, and when you unlock it, your team is already pre-established and already have melons regardless. So yeah, it's an okay option for the late game. I guess we'll go with B just because it has RNG involved. Okay, and the last one of them is the steak. +20 attack for just 1 hit. Definitely pretty interesting item as well. It's perfect for a unit that is really weak, but you need in your team for the ability, like a really weak tiger stat-wise. Yeah, it can definitely save your ass sometimes, and it can be really powerful, especially because 20 extra damage is a lot. Yeah, with that being said, I don't think it's that viable though. I think it's a strong B. So that's basically it for the food and super auto pets. I hope I gave some good insight into their uses and power levels as well. Food items are definitely a good mechanic for the game, but hopefully the devs add more variety and mechanics into future food items. So yeah, thank you for watching everyone. Hope this helped you out. Peace.